My name's Malcolm Prescott from Webber's New Homes, and I'm here today in Kenwith Meadows, which is a fantastic new development built by Chichester Development, who are a really well-known local company who do a great job at building some really exciting properties. Now, these properties are specifically for the retirement sector, and I'm here today with Sarah. And Sarah,
Hello, Malcolm.
you're the first person to move into these lovely properties, and I thank you for talking to us today.
It's a pleasure.
But my first question is, why move? Why did you come here?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because I had a very, very lovely house in Appledore overlooking the estuary, but it did have a very big garden in the front and the back, which I'd had landscaped. I even had a garage, which was a real
bonus.
Oh yes, a real bonus in Appledore. But I knew that in the short and medium term it was going to get too much for me, and I thought what I wanted to find was stress-free living. And I wanted to be able to do it while I was still able to pack all my own boxes, decide what I wanted to take with me, what I didn't want to take with me. And I was very lucky to discover that Kenwith Meadows was being developed. And I came along to have a look at it, and that was decision made.
And what do you think, when you came to Kenwith Meadows, what do you think was the big reason for Kenwith Meadows? What was it about Kenwith Meadows that you said, yeah, this is right for me?
Well, I make my mind up very quickly. I think one was the rural location. You're surrounded by meadows, you've got the two lakes not very far away from you. The houses, the bungalows are all very well spaced, so you never feel as if you're on top of anybody else. You've got your own private space. Also, it's not very far from Bideford, it's not far from Atlantic Village, it's not far from a very good pub up the road.
Excellent.
So there are lots of things in its favour. It's not far from Westward Ho. I go sea swimming most days, so for me it's just a 5-minute drive down to the beach, and I'm there. So there were so many ticks in the boxes. The bungalows are beautifully designed. I like the finishes on them as well, and also the environmental elements of the bungalows. That's something that really convinced me that I did have to have one.
And we may have had a heron here today, potentially.
Indeed. Well, the other morning, Saturday morning, I was sitting here having a cup of tea, and one of the peacocks walked past, followed by a pheasant not long afterwards.
Wonderful.
And I've even seen deer in the field behind me. So it is just a superb place to live.
Now, this is your first Chichester Developments home.
It is.
First time you've owned one of their properties. You've only been here for a short time, but how have you found the property and the service from Chichester?
I think when I first walked into the bungalow, when it wasn't quite finished, I thought, am I going to have enough space? But they've been designed in such a way that you have got ample space. And as I mentioned earlier to you, I'm getting married in 3 or 4 weeks.
Congratulations
and
again.
So a second person will be living here in the bungalow, and I've got no qualms about not having enough space for both of us. I think the option to be able to choose your own flooring and certain elements of the bungalow is very, very useful indeed, because you feel as if you put your own stamp on
Your
it.
own stamp.
And there are so many different designs to choose from as well. That is an added bonus. So the landscaping as well, I could see the beginning of the landscaping when I first arrived here, and it is just superb what has been done. And the regular maintenance of all the lawns, the plants and everything else, it is really superb.
Lovely.
So it's an ideal place.
And we talk a lot about when we move that it can be a stressful experience. How did you find the whole experience of moving, Sarah? Did you find it a relatively stress-free process?
Yes, I was very lucky because I managed to sell my house in Appledore immediately, if not sooner, within about 4 hours.
Wow.
So I was very lucky. And I also pushed for completion very quickly. So I moved into a temporary accommodation in Appledore for several months until this bungalow was ready on the 3rd of February, which actually was much sooner than I anticipated. And the whole process, I think, apart from dealing with solicitors, which is always a little bit, all the forms you've got to fill in and various other things, but it was a very, for me, easy process from beginning to end. And I do think that, you know, working with Sandra, who works for Webbers, she really facilitated it every step of the way.
That's lovely.
So for me, it was a very easy process indeed.
Good to know. Now, this site has something quite unique in the pavilion cafe, the shop, the hub, what have you. It is a special feature. Do you think that that's been for you one of the features that's really brought the development to life and given something special?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I moved in on the 6th of February, and the pavilion opened, it would be 2 weeks now, I think, about the middle of September.
That's right.
And it's got an added bonus to living here now, because I think Sunday night I ran out of vegetables, so I whizzed up there to see what was in the freezer department, and I was able to get something so I could have a meal. So having the shop on site is a real bonus. Cards, batteries, all the sort of basic things that you suddenly think, I need that. And
could you imagine in the summer sitting outside having a drink with friends, and what can you see that something that will develop?
Very much so. I think, you know, people are getting used to it now, but once there are more people here on at Kenwith Meadows, I think it's going to be thronged. It'll be quite difficult probably to get a seat. Yes, but the outside area, the petanque ground, is just superb. Yeah. Really, really. It's been designed very, very carefully so that it works for everybody. It's easy access for people who've got sort of mobility impaired, and there is something for everybody there.
I mean, it seems to me that it really is a site that whether you're, if you like, an active, semi-retired stroke retired person, or someone perhaps who's maybe not quite as active, it sort of suits quite a wide range of people because of the way it's been designed and set up.
Absolutely, and I think having somebody there in the morning and the afternoon, so I have a slot on Tuesday afternoon and I go in there and I meet and greet.
Wonderful.
And you get to talk to lots of different people, listen to their experiences, and it is absolutely delightful. Sit down, have a coffee and a piece of cake with them. It's just a really fantastic environment. We're very lucky to have it.
Now, if you were talking to someone who was thinking of a move and considering Kenwith, what would you say to them? What would be your final word, if you like, to say this is why you should think about Kenwith Meadows?
Interesting, because I was talking to someone last night in church who'd been to see Kenwith Meadows. He's only 67, but I said, go for it now. Don't wait until you're 70 or 80. It's a superb environment. It is good to be able, I think, to have your own transport here, even though there is a bus.
Yeah.
It is good to have your own transport, but I would just say to anybody, just go for it. Sell your house and come here and, you know, be one of us, and you'll thoroughly enjoy it. Whether you want to, you know, be on your own or whether you want to mix with people, you've got the choice. And so far, there are a lovely crowd of people here, and we all get on very well.
Lovely.
And there are wonderful blackberries around the lake.
You've been foraging?
I've been foraging, and walnuts are on the trees. So that's my next forage, to get the walnuts down. But no, it's idyllic. It really is in every way. The windows are cleaned every 2 months. I think even the gutters are looked at occasionally. Yeah. Your gardens are maintained for you. Your rubbish is collected.
So
what more do you want?
All you have to do is have a drink and enjoy life.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yes, it's party time all the time.
Well, thank you ever so much, Sarah, for chatting to us today. Really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure you're going to have many, many happy memories here. And I wish you all the very best with your wedding.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. And it's just so delightful to be here. And I'm just loving every minute of it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, there we are. Thank you very much indeed for listening. If you're interested at all, then please contact Sandra at Webbers in Barnstable, 01271 379797, and Sandra will be happy to help you. Thank you.